Shila Gurudev ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtarashitashmar Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtarashitashmar Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtarashitashmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashtarashitashmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki. Nitil Pravishta Maha-Bhagavat Śrīla Gopākṣaras Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Raghunath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Shara Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौरमंडल व्रजमंडल मथुरा धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरि महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जाय। श्री मुन देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भाई श्री पूर्णमासी की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवती जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Oh, I forgot to give the link. 1 second. Let me just... I'll let you. Sorry, I'm just sharing my screen. Om Jnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Vyatmane Shri Śrīmad-Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva Patitam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikai Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Avrajantamitamapeta krityam dvaipayano viraha katara ajuhavo putreti tanmayataya taravo bhinedu stang sarva bhuta hridayam munimanatosmi narayanam namaskritya narang chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet shrinvatang svakata krishna punya shavana kirtana Hridantasto hyabadrani vidhunoti suhritsatam Nashta prayeshvavadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavatuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki Tavaivasmi najivami tvaya vina Iti vigyaya radhe tvayamang charanantikam Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay Kshiptashtakamaditaranga madhe Kripa mai tvang sharanam prapanna Vrinde namaste charana ravindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dandavat Pranam, Savitri Didi, Prajumna Prabhu, Madhavi Didi, Kishore Prabhu, Rohit Radha Krishnan ji, and also Indira Mataji, who will be watching this later. Dandavat Pranams. Where Rup Manjari Didi is, and Varseshwari Mataji. And Dandavat Pranams Mantaramurti Mataji. All right, so. Let's read from here, the recap. I think it will be a bit shorter than reading from this book. Yeah, I think let's just read from here. Somebody sent a WhatsApp message. Okay. The Lord as a warrior Brahman. Pururava and Urvashi begot sons. In the dynasty of Pururava's son Vijaya, King Gadi appeared. King Gadi became the father of Vishwamitra. Although born as a Kshatriya, Vishwamitra manifested the qualities of a Brahman and achieved the status of a Brahmarshi because his mother had eaten the sacrificial oblation that was surcharged with the power of a Brahman. Gadi's daughter, Satyavati, was married to sage Richika and gave birth to Jamadagni. Sage Jamadagni begot many sons, of whom the youngest was the fierce Kshatriya Parshuram, an incarnation of Lord Vasudeva. This in turn happened because his grandmother, Satyavati, had partaken the sacrificial oblation that was surcharged with the power of Kshatriya. Parshuram unhesitatingly executed his father's order to kill his own mother and brothers when they committed some offense unto him. Jamadagni was pleased and asked Parshuram to take any benediction. Parshuram then wisely asked, "Let my mother and brothers live again and not remember having been killed by me." Parshuram's mother and brothers got up as if awakened from sleep. Once the powerful king of the Haihayas, Kartavirya-Juna, came to the residence of Jamadagni. Kartavirya-Juna had worshipped Lord Dattatreya and received 1,000 arms. He had once stopped the flow of the Narmada river with his arms and inundated Ravan's camp, located on its bank. When Ravan had tried to insult him, this Kartavirya-Juna even arrested Ravan. With the assistance of his wish-fulfilling cow, his Kamadhenu, Jamadagni gave very good hospitality to Kartavirya-Juna and his soldiers and ministers. Kartavirya-Juna desired the valuable cow for himself and forcefully stole her, although she was crying. Hearing of this heinous deed, Parshuram became furious. Taking up his weapons, he chased Kartavirya-Juna, who sent 17 Okshahinis of soldiers, along with elephants, chariots, etc. But Parshuram alone killed all of them. Working with the speed of the minds and winds, and slicing the enemies with his Parashu, his axe, Parshuram eventually cut off the arms and head of Kartavirya-Juna. He then brought back the Kamadhenu to Jamadagni. Jamadagni did not appreciate this act of killing a ruling monarch and instructed Parshuram on forgiveness. The Brahmins are worshipable for all people due to their quality of forgiveness. He said, the Brahmins are worshipable for all people due to their quality of forgiveness that pleases the Supreme Lord. He then told Parshuram to atone for his sin by visiting holy places, and Parshuram went on pilgrimage for 1 year. One second, let me just fix my mic. Okay, just wanted to make sure it's working. In the absence of Parshuram and his other brothers, the most sinful sons of Kartavirya-Juna came and beheaded Jamadagni, who was absorbed in meditation on the Supreme Lord. Enraged, Parshuram went to Mahishmati and in the midst of that city made a mountain of the heads of Kartavirya-Juna's sons. He made a river with their blood, causing fear in all those who disrespect Brahmins. Later, he killed the excessively proud and sinful Kshatriyas 21 times and made 9 lakes of their blood at Samanta Panchak. Parshuram joined his father's head to his dead body and revived him after conducting a sacrifice. Jamadagni became one of the 7 sages of the Manvantar. In the next Manvantar, Parshuram will be the propounder of Vedic knowledge. Parshuram is still living in the Mahindra mountains. Now we're going to read about Pururava's other, his son Ayu, the throne of the heavenly king. Okay, right now it's Hari Bol Manjari Didi. It's so sweet, the Vaman Leela. Pretty kind of opposite to what we were just reading, huh? Dandavat Pranamaskar Gurudji. Yes. All right, so where are we? Oh, 1 second. Let me just... Okay. All right, so in chapter 15, verses 1 through 4, Shukadev Goswami mentioned about the descendants of Pururava's sons, except that of the eldest son, Ayu. Now, in chapter 17, he'll describe the descendants of Ayu. Okay, so that's what we're reading now. Chapter 17, the dynasties of the sons of Pururava. Ayu, the son of Pururava, had 5 sons, Nahuṣa, Kshatravridha, Raji, Rabha, and Anena. The son of Kshatravridha was Suhotra, who had 3 sons named Kashya, Kusha, and Gritsamada. The son of Gritsamada was Shunaka, and his son was Shonaka. The son of Kashya was Kashi. From Kashi came the sons and grandsons known as Rashtra, Dirgatama, and Dhanvantari, who was the inaugurator of medical science and was a Shaktavish incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. The descendants of Dhanvantari were Ketuman, Bhimarata, Divodasa, and Duman, who is also known as Pratardana, Shatrujit, Vatsa, Ritadvaja, and Kuvalayashva. The son of Duman was Alarka, who reigned over the kingdom for many, many years. Following in the dynasty of Alarka were Santati, Sunita, Niketana, Dharmaketu, Satyaketu, Drishtaketu, Sukumara, Vitihotra, Bharga, and Bharga Bhumi. All of them belonged to the dynasty of Kashi, the descendant of Kshatravridha. The son of Rabha was Rabhasa, and his son was Gambhira. Gambhira's son was Akriya, and from Akriya came Brahmavit. The son of Anena was Shuddha, and his Shuchi. The son of Shuchi was Chitrakrit, whose son was Shantaraj. Raji had 500 sons, all of extraordinary strength. Raji was personally very powerful and was given the kingdom of heaven by Lord Indra. Later, after Raji's death, when the sons of Raji refused to return the kingdom to Indra, by Brihaspati's arrangements, they became unintelligent, and Lord Indra conquered them. What's going on? Strange, it won't let me read it in reading view. Anyways, we'll just have to have a harsh white background. I used to have an app, I think it's expired. Oh, no, it hasn't. Always allow on this website. Here, let's make it black background. I think, yeah, my subscription is, my trial expired. Dang it. Anyhow. Shri Badaraya Niruvacha Ya pururavasa putra ayustasya bhavan sutta Nahuṣa kshatra vridascha rajirabhascha viryavan Anena iti rajendra shrinukshatra vridodvayam Kshatra vridda sutasyasan suhutrasya Kashya kusho gritsamada eti gritsamadad abhut Shunaka shonako yasya bhavricha pravaro muni. Shukadev Goswami said, from Pururava came a son named Ayu, whose very powerful sons were Nahuṣa, Kshatra Vridha, Raji, Rabha, and Anena. O Maharaj Parikshit, now hear about the dynasty of Kshatra Vridha. Kshatra Vridha's son was Suhotra, who had 3 sons named Kashya, Kusha, and Gritsamada. From Gritsamada came Shunaka, and from him came Shonaka, the great saints, the best of those conversant with the Rig Veda. Kashyasya kashistat putro rashtra dirgatama pita dhanvantarir dirgatamasa ayurveda pravartaka yagya bhog vasudevangsha smrita matrartinashana. The son of Kashya was Kashya, and his son was Rashtra, the father of Dirgatama. Dirgatama had a son named Dhanvantari, who was the inaugurator of the medicinal science and an incarnation of Lord Vasudeva, the enjoyer of the results of sacrifices. One who remembers the name of Dhanvantari can be released from all disease. Tatputra kitumanasya jage bhima ratastata divo daso dimangstasmat pratardhana iti smritaha. The son of Dhanvantari was Ketuman, and his son was Bhimarata. The son of Bhimarata was Divodasa, and the son of Divodasa was Dyuman, also known as Pratardhana. Sa eva shatrujid vatsa ritadvaja iti rita tata kovalaya shveti prokto larkadayastata. Dyuman was also known as Shatrujit, Vatsa, Ritadvaja, and Kuvalayashva. From him were born Alarka and other sons. Shashtim Varsha Sahasrani, Shashtim Varsha Shata, Nalarkad Aparo Rajan, Bubhuje Medinim Yuva. Alarka, the son of Dyuman, reigned over the earth for 66,000 years, my dear King Parikshit. No one other than him has reigned over the earth for so long as a young man. Alarkat santatistat sunito ta niketana dharmaketu sutastasmat satyaketur ajayata. From Alarka came a son named Santati, and his son was Sunita. The son of Sunita was Niketan. The son of Niketan was Dharmaketu. And the son of Dharmaketu was Satyaketu. Drishtaketu statastasmat sukumara kshitishvara vitihotrosya bhargoto bharga bhumir abhunripa. O Parikshit, from Satyaketu came a son named Drishtaketu, and from Drishtaketu came Sukumara, the emperor of the entire world. From Sukumara came a son named Vitihotra, from Vitihotra, Bharga, and from Bharga, Bharga Bhumi. Iti me kashayo bhupa kshatra vridhan Devayānī rabhasya rabhasa putro Gambhirash Chakriyas Tata. O Maharaj Parikshit, all of these kings were descendants of Kashi, and they could also be called descendants of Kshatra Vridha. The son of Rabha was Rabhasa, and from Rabhasa came Gambhira, and from Gambhira came a son named Akriya. Targotram Brahmavidyagye Shrinuvangsham Anenasa Shudastata Shuchistasmach Chitrakrid Dharmasaratihi. The son of Akriya was known as Brahmavit. The son of Akriya is known as Brahmavit, O king. Now hear about the descendants of Anena. From Anena came a son named Shuddha, and his son was Shuchi. The son of Shuchi was Dharmasarati, also called Chitrakrit. Tata Shanta Rajo Jage Krita Kritya Sa Atmavan Raje Pancha Shatanyasan Putranam Amito Jasam. From Chitrakrit was born a son named Shantaraj, a self-realized soul who performed all kinds of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, therefore did not beget any progeny. The sons of Raji were 500, all very powerful. Devar abhyartito daityan hatvendraya dadadivam indrastasmai punar dattva grihitva charano raje atmanam arpayamasa prahradadari shankitaha. On the requests of the demigods, Raji killed the demons and thus returned the kingdom of heaven to Lord Indra. But Indra, fearing such demons as Prahlad, returned the kingdom of heaven to Raji and surrendered himself at Raji's lotus feet. Pitarupparate putra yachamanaya no dadu Trivishtapam Mahendraya Yagya Bhagam Samadadu. After Raji's death, Indra begged Raji's sons for the return of the heavenly planet. They did not return it, however, although they agreed to return Indra's shares in ritualistic ceremonies. Purport. Raji conquered the kingdom of heaven, and therefore when Indra, the heavenly king, begged Raji's sons to return it, they refused. Because they had not taken the heavenly kingdom from Indra, but had inherited it from their father, they considered it their paternal property. Why then should they return it to the demigods? Guruna yamanegno balabhitanayan raje avadir brangshitam margan na kaschir avasheshitaha. Thereafter, Brihaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods, offered oblations in the fire so that the sons of Raji would fall from moral principles. When they fell, Lord Indra killed them because of their degradation. Not a single one of them remained alive. That's cheating. Kushat pratik kshatra vridhat Sanjayastat suto jaya tata krita kritasyapi jagge harya balo nripa. From Kusha, the grandson of Kshatra Vridha, was born a son named Prati. The son of Prati was Sanjaya, and the son of Sanjaya was Jaya. From Jaya, Krita was born, and from Krita, King Haryabala. Sahadeva satohino jayasena stutatsuta sankritistasya jaya kshatra dharma maharata kshidhan vaya bhupa ime shrinvata Nahuṣan. From Haryabala came a son named Sahadev, and from Sahadev came Hina. Hina was Jayasena, and the son of Jayasena was Sankriti. The son of Sankriti was the powerful and expert fighter named Jaya. These kings were members of the Kshatra Vridha dynasty. Now let me describe to you the dynasty of Nahuṣa. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 9th canto, 17th chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled The Dynasties of the Sons of Pururava. Okay, so now let's begin the next chapter. 18. Are we reading to, what is it, verse 32, is it? Let me just check really quick. Oh yeah, and tomorrow is Gadadhar Pandit's. There, Raseshwari Mataji is. Haribol. I was wondering where you were. what was I saying? Wait, what verse are we reading up to? Let me just check really quick. 23, okay. Actually, could I just, we'll just take a little intermission. I wanted to tell you guys, maybe I mentioned it before, but yeah, on May 3rd, that's Akshay Tritiya, the day, that's the one, like that's the day in the year when you begin anything. Then whatever you begin on Akshay Tritiya will never kshaya, it will never diminish, it will stay permanent. So on May 3rd, I'm going to begin a program where we go through all of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions to Srila Rupa Goswami, which is the basis of all of our teachings, of all of our, anyways, it's basis of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and the whole process of bhakti, how our creeper grows all the way up till it reaches prem, and then beyond prem, like, you know, the different stages of prem and beyond and beyond. So, yeah, I'm going to be starting on May 3rd, and I also made a YouTube channel. You can see it here, Vine of Devotion on YouTube. And every Thursday, I'm going to be putting out a new video here. And then every Friday, I'm going to send out on the mailing list. So let's just see. So if you go to vineofdevotion.com, and then you can subscribe. You can either click up there or click down here. And then you can enter in your email, and then you can join our Shloka program. So then 2 days after that, after I send out the newsletter, then on Sunday, we will have a Zoom program. And I made here. This is just an outline of the program that we're doing. Yeah, so I'm going to do a Zoom program in the morning on Sunday. So actually, from now on, every Sunday I'm not going to read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, because I'm going to be doing this Zoom program where everybody will get to recite the shloka that they memorized. And I'm going to do it in the morning time and also in the evening time, so that it will work for all different time zones and everybody's schedule. So so you could choose which one you want to attend to recite your shloka and explain it in your own words. So yeah, you can check it out, vineofdevotion.com, and subscribe to the newsletter. I also did something on here. Never mind. Oh yeah, here are all the verses that we're going to be memorizing. If you click up on the top here. See, so week 1 we're going to learn this verse, short verse. They're easy, just Bengali verses. Week 2 are insignificance. So all the ones that I put in these boxes, those are the ones that we're going to be reciting. So week 3 we're going to recite this. We're going to memorize this verse. Week 4 this verse. Like that. And I made my own translations for all these to make it really easy to understand the actual Bengali that you're saying. So I tried to keep the same word order. So like here it says Krishna Bhakta, a devotee of Krishna. Nishkam is free from all desire. Ataiv, therefore, he is peaceful. So a devotee of Krishna is free from all material desire and is therefore peaceful. See, I tried to make it really easy to understand so that you could understand the Bengali that you're saying. Those desiring material enjoyment, those bhukti, those desiring mukti, those desiring siddhi, kami means desiring, so those desiring bhukti, mukti, and siddhi, mystic perfections, sakali, all of them are ashanta. Oops, I should add in the word all, because sakali. Anyways, yeah, these translations are a work in progress. But like that, I tried to make everything really simple. All right, so, yeah, okay, I'm going to continue on with Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Haribo, Rukmini Didi, Dandavat Pranams. All right, so let's go back. Now we're beginning chapter 18. King Yayāti regains his youth. This chapter gives a history of King Yayāti, the son of Nahuṣa. Among Yayāti's 5 sons, the youngest son, Puru, accepted Yayāti's invalidity. When Nahuṣa, who had 6 sons, was cursed to become a python, his eldest son, Yati, took sannyas, and therefore the next son, Yayāti, was enthroned as king. By providence, Yayāti married the daughter of Shukracharya. Shukracharya was a Brahmin, and Yayāti was a Kshatriya. But Yayāti married her nonetheless. Shukracharya's daughter, named Devayānī, had a girlfriend named Śarmiṣṭhā, who was the daughter of Vrishaparva. King Yayāti married Śarmiṣṭhā also. The history of this marriage is as follows. Once Śarmiṣṭhā was sporting in the water with thousands of her girlfriends, and Devayānī was also there. When the young girls saw Lord Shiva seated on his bowl with Uma, they immediately dressed themselves. But Śarmiṣṭhā mistakenly put on Devayānī's clothes. Devayānī, being very angry, rebuked Śarmiṣṭhā, who also became very angry and responded by rebuking Devayānī and throwing her into a well. Jeez. By chance, King Yayāti came to that well to drink water, and he found Devayānī and rescued her. Thus, Devayānī accepted Maharaj Yayāti as her husband. Thereafter, Devayānī, crying loudly, told her father about Śarmiṣṭhā's behavior. Upon hearing of this incident, Shukracharya was very angry and wanted to chastise Vrishaparva, Śarmiṣṭhā's father. Vrishaparva, however, satisfied Shukracharya by offering Śarmiṣṭhā as Devayānī's maidservant. Oh God. Thus, Śarmiṣṭhā, as the maidservant of Devayānī, also went to the house of Devayānī's husband. Oh God, talk about bad blood. When Śarmiṣṭhā found her friend Devayānī with a son, she also desired to have a son. Therefore, at the proper time for conception, she also requested Maharaj Yayāti for sex. When Śarmiṣṭhā became pregnant also, Devayānī was very envious. In great anger, she immediately left for her father's house and told her father everything. Shukracharya again became very angry and cursed Maharaj Yayāti to become old. But when Yayāti begged Shukracharya to be merciful to him, Shukracharya gave him the benediction that he could transfer his oldity to some young man. Yayāti exchanged his old age for the youth of his youngest son, Puru, and thus he was able to enjoy with young girls. Oh my God. Okay. Well, Puru was a very obedient son. Shri Shuka Uvacha Yatir Yayati Sangyatir Ayatir Viyati Kriti Shad ime Nahuṣasyasvan Indriyani Vadehina. Shukadev Goswami said, O King Parikshit, as the embodied soul has 6 senses, King Nahuṣa had 6 sons, named Yati, Yayati, Sangyati, Ayati, Viyati, and Kriti. Rajam Naicharyati Pitra Dattam Tat Parinamavid Yatra Pravishta Purusha Atmanam Navabhudyate. When one enters the post of king or head of the government, one cannot understand the meaning of self-realization. Knowing this, Yati, the eldest son of Nahuṣa, did not accept the power to rule, although it was offered by his father. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Self-realization is the prime objective of human civilization, and it is regarded seriously by those who are situated in the mode of goodness and have developed the Brahminical qualities. Kshatriyas are generally endowed with material qualities conducive to gaining material wealth and enjoying sense gratification. But those who are spiritually advanced are not interested in material opulence. Indeed, they accept only the bare necessities for a life of spiritual advancement and self-realization. It is specifically mentioned here that if one enters political life, especially in the modern day, one loses the chance for human perfection. Nonetheless, one can attain the highest perfection if one hears Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. This hearing is described as Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Maharaj Parikshit was involved in politics, but because at the end of his life he heard Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from Shukadev Goswami, he attained perfection very easily. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore suggested Stane stita shutikatam tanuvang manobhir ye prayaso jita jito pyasitais trilokyam. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10:14-3. Regardless of whether one is in the mode of passion, ignorance, or goodness, if one regularly hears Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from a self-realized soul, one is freed from the bondage of material involvement. I just want to drink some water. Pitare brangshite stanad indranya dharshana dvijay prapite jagara tvangvai yayatir abhavandripa. Just making sure everything is okay, because sometimes, okay, Patrona just sent something. Hare Krishna Shasharmaji. Because Nahuṣa, the father of Yayāti, molested Indra's wife Shachi, who then complained to Agastya and other Brahmins, these saintly Brahmins cursed Nahuṣa to fall from the heavenly planets and be degraded to the status of a python. Consequently, Yayāti became the king. Chatasrishva disha dikshu bratrin brata yaviyasaha kritadharo jugo porvim kavyasya vrishaparvanaha. King Yayāti had 4 younger brothers, whom he allowed to rule the 4 directions. Yayāti himself married Devayānī, the daughter of Śukracharya, and Śarmiṣṭhā, the daughter of Vrishaparva, and ruled the entire earth. Shirajovacha Brahmarshir Bhagavan Kavya Kshatra Bandhushcha Nahuṣa Rajanya Viprayo Kasmad Vivaha Pratilomakaha. Maharaj Parikshit said, Shukracharya was a very powerful Brahman, and Maharaj Yayāti was a Kshatriya. Therefore, I am curious to know how there occurred this, this pratiloma marriage between a Kshatriya and a Brahman. Purport. According to the Vedic system, marriages between Kshatriyas and Kshatriyas, or between Brahmins and Brahmins, are the general custom. If marriages take place between different classes, these marriages are of 2 types, namely Anuloma and Pratiloma. Anuloma, marriage between a Brahmin and a daughter of a Kshatriya, is permissible, but Pratiloma, marriage between a Kshatriya and the daughter of a Brahmin, is not generally allowed. Therefore, Maharaj Parikshit was curious about how Shukracharya, a powerful Brahmin, could accept the principle of Pratiloma. Maharaj Parikshit was eager to know the cause for this uncommon marriage. Shishuka Uvacha. Oops, there's a line missing. Shishuka Uvacha. Ekada Danavendrasya Śarmiṣṭhā nama kanyaka Saki Sahasra Sangyukta Guru Putra Chabhamini Devayānya Purodhyane Pushpita Druma Sankule Vyacharat Kalagitali Nalini Puline Bala. Shukadev Goswami said, one day Vrishaparva's daughter Śarmiṣṭhā, who was innocent but angry by nature, was walking with Devayānī, the daughter of Shukracharya, and with thousands of friends in the palace garden. The garden was full of lotuses and trees of flowers. And it was full of trees of flowers and fruits. And it was God, I don't know why I had such a hard time reading. The garden was full of lotuses and trees of flowers and fruits, and was inhabited by sweetly singing birds and bumblebees. Sorry about that. Tajala shayana sadhya kanyaka malalochana tire nyasa dukulani vijahru sinchatirmita. When the lotus-eyed girls came to the bank of a reservoir of water, they wanted to enjoy by bathing. Thus, they left their clothing on the bank and began sporting, throwing water on one another. Vikshavrajantam girisham sahadevya vrishastitam sahasotiryavasangsi paryadur vrittita striya. While sporting in the water, the girls suddenly saw Lord Shiva passing by, seated on the back of his bull with his wife Parvati. Ashamed because the girls quickly got out of the water and covered themselves with their garments. Śarmiṣṭhā janati vaso guruputra samavyata sviyam matva prakupita devayānī tamabravit. Wouldn't it be better for them just to stay in the water? Well, I guess maybe the water was so clear that you could see through the water. Śarmiṣṭhā unknowingly put Devayāni's dress on her own body, thus Devayānī, who spoke as follows. Aho nirikṣasya dasya karma hyasam pratam haryam dhritavati shuniva haviradvare. Oh, just see the activities of the servant maid Śarmiṣṭhā. Disregarding all etiquette, she has put on my clothes, just like a dog snatching clarified butter meant for use in a sacrifice. Yar idam tapasa shrishtam mukam pungsam parasyaye dharyate yar iha jyoti shiva panta pradarshitaha yan vadantu upatishtante Lokanata Shureshva Bhagavapi Vishvatma Pavana Śrīniketana Vayam Tatrapi Brigava Shishyosya Napita Sura Asmadharyam Dritavati Shudro Vedam Ivasati. We are among the qualified Brahmins who are accepted as the face of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Brahmins have created the entire universe by their austerity, and they always keep the absolute truth within the core of their hearts. They have directed the path of good fortune, the path of Vedic civilization, and because they are the only worshipable objects within this world, they are offered prayers and worshipped even by the great demigods, the directors of the various planets, and even by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul, the Supreme Purifier, the husband of the Goddess of Fortune. And we are even more respectable because we are in the dynasty of Bhrigu. Yet, although this woman's father, being among the demons, is our disciple, she has put on my dress exactly like a Shudra, taking charge of Vedic knowledge. Evam kshipantim Śarmiṣṭhā guruputrim abhashata urusha santurangiva Darshita Dashta Dachada. Shukadeva Goswami said, when thus rebuked in cruel words, Śarmiṣṭhā was very angry. Breathing heavily like a serpent and biting her lower lip with her teeth, she spoke to the daughter of Shukracharya as follows. Atma vrittam avigyaya katase bahu bhikshuki kena pratikshate smakan grihan bali bhujo yata. You beggar, since you don't understand your position, why should you unnecessarily talk so much? Don't all of you wait at our house, depending on us for your livelihood like crows? Purport. Crows have no independent life. They fully depend on the remnants of foodstuffs thrown by householders in the garbage tank. Therefore, because a Brahmin depends on his disciples, when Śarmiṣṭhā was heavily rebuked by Devayānī, she charged Devayānī with belonging to a family of crow-like beggars. It is the nature of women to fight verbally at even a slight provocation. As we see from this incident, this has been their nature for a long, long time. Evam vidai saparushai kshiptva charya sutam satim Śarmiṣṭhā prakshipat kupe vasaschadayamanyuna. Using such unkind words, Śarmiṣṭhā rebuked Devayānī, the daughter of Shukracharya. In anger, she took away Devayānī's garments and threw Devayānī into a well. My God, that's pretty harsh. Tasyam gatayam swagriham Yayātir mrigayam charan prapto yadrichaya kupe jalarti tang tadarshaha. After throwing Devayānī into the well, Śarmiṣṭhā went home. Meanwhile, King Yayāti, while engaged in a hunting excursion, went to the well to drink water and by chance saw Devayānī. Datva uttarang vasas tasyai raja vivasase grihitva panina panim ujahara dayapara. Seeing Devayānī naked in the well, King Yayāti immediately gave his upper cloth. Being very kind to her, he caught her hand and with his own lifted her out. He caught her hand with his own and lifted her out. Tamviram Nahuṣa shanasi prema nirbharaya gira rajangstvaya grihito pani para puranjaya hastagraho paramabhud grihitaya svaya hime esha isha krito vira sambandho no napurusha. With words saturated with love and affection, Devayānī said to King Yayāti, "O great hero, O king, conqueror of the cities of your enemies, by accepting my hand, you have accepted me as your married wife. Let me not be touched by others, for our relationship as husband and wife has been made possible by providence, not by any human being." Purport. While taking Devayānī out of the well, King Yayāti may have appreciated her youthful beauty, and therefore he might have asked her which caste she belonged to. Thus Devayānī would have immediately replied, "We are already married because you accepted my hand." Uniting the hands of the bride and bridegroom is a system perpetually existing in all societies. Therefore, as soon as Yayāti accepted Devayānī's hand, they could be regarded as married. Because Devayānī was enamored with the hero Yayāti, she requested him not to change his mind and let another come to marry her. Yadidam kupamagnaya bhavato darshanam mama now brahmano me bhavita hastagraho mahabhuja kachasya barhaspatyasya shapidyam ashampura. Because of falling in the well, I met you. Indeed, this has been arranged by providence. After I cursed Kacha, the son of the learned scholar Brihaspati, he cursed me by saying that I would not have a Brahman for a husband. Therefore, O mighty armed one, there is no possibility of my becoming the wife of a Brahman. Purport. Kacha, the son of the learned celestial priest Brihaspati, had been a student of Shukracharya, from whom they had learned the art of reviving a man who has died untimely. Interesting. Brihaspati's son was a student of Shukracharya. That's so neat. This art called Mrita Sanjivani was especially used during wartime. When there was war, soldiers would certainly die, but if a soldier's body was intact, he could be brought back to life again by this art of Mrita Sanjivani. This art was known to Shukracharya, and Kacha, the son of Brihaspati, became Shukracharya's student to learn it. Devayānī desired to have Kacha as her husband, but Kacha, out of regard for Shukracharya, looked upon the Guru's daughter as a respectable superior and therefore refused to marry her. Devayānī angrily cursed Kacha by saying that although he had learned the art of Mrita Sanjivani from her father, it would be useless. When cursed in this way, Kacha retaliated by cursing Devayānī never to have a husband who was a Brahman. Because Devayānī liked Yayāti, who was a Kshatriya, she requested him to accept her as his bona fide wife. Although this would be pratiloma vivaha, a marriage between the daughter of a high family and the son of a lower family, she explained that this arrangement was made by providence. Yayatir anabhipretam daivapahritam manastu targatam buddhva pratijagrahatar vachaha. Shukadeva continued, because such a marriage is not sanctioned by regular scriptures, King Yayati did not like it. But because it was arranged by providence and because he was attracted by Devayānī's beauty, he accepted her request. Purport. According to the Vedic system, the parents would consider the horoscope of the boy and girl who were to be married. If according to the astrological calculations, the boy and girl were compatible in every respect, the match was called Yotaka, and the marriage would be accepted. Even 50 years ago, this system was current in Hindu society. Regardless of the influence of the boy or the personal beauty of the girl, without this astrological compatibility, the marriage would not take place. A man is born in one of three categories, known as Devagan, Manushagan, and Rakshasagan. In different parts of the universe, there are demigods and demons, and in human society also, some people resemble demigods, whereas others resemble demons. If according to astrological calculations there is a conflict between a godly and a demoniac nature, the marriage would not take place. Similarly, there were calculations of pratiloma and anuloma. The central idea is that if the boy and girl were on an equal level, the marriage would be happy, whereas inequality would lead to unhappiness. Because care is no longer taken in marriage, we now find many divorces. Indeed, divorce has now become a common affair, although formerly one's marriage would continue lifelong, and the affection between the husband and wife was so great that the wife would voluntarily die when her husband died, or would remain a faithful widow throughout her entire life. Now, of course, this is no longer possible, for human society has fallen to the level of animal society. Marriage now takes place simply by agreement. Dampate pi ruchir hetu. Bhagavatam 12:2-3. The word abhiruchi means agreement. If the boy and girl simply agree to marry, the marriage takes place. But when the Vedic system is not rigidly observed, marriage frequently ends in divorce. We're reading up to 29, right? I think so. Let me just check. 20. Oh, oops. I went past where we were supposed to read today. Is this a good place to stop, though? No, I stopped at the right place. Okay, so tomorrow, what are we going to read tomorrow? Hey. Okay, so Yayati saves Devayānī, and Devayānī proposes marriage. Then tomorrow we're going to read how Śarmiṣṭhā becomes a servant of Devayānī. Yayati begets 5 sons through Devayānī and Śarmiṣṭhā. Then Shukracharya curses Yayati to become old. Puru gives his youth to Yayati in exchange of his old age. And Yayati's rule, enjoyment, sacrifices, worship of the Lord, and dissatisfaction with material enjoyment. And then the next chapter will be King Yayati achieves liberation. All right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Oh, just one little note. If you do go to Vine of Devotion and subscribe to the newsletter there, to join the Shloka program, you'll have to go back to your email and confirm your email address. It doesn't just automatically subscribe you when you enter in your email. So yeah, just enter in your email, then go to your inbox, click whatever, confirm it, and then you'll be in the group. All right. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashtatara Shata Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shila Guru Dev ki jai. Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashtatara Shata Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashtatara Shata Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashtatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Nitila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashtatara Shata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki jai. Nitila Pravishta Maha-Bhagavat Shila Goksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitila Pravishta Shila Satchiraranda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopala Padadash Raghunath Shar Gosai Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachay Shila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandal Gaura Mandal Rajamandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishtabhadata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kun Shama Kun ki jai. Shri Muna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashaja Krishna Bhakti Padadevi Satyavadaya Namo Namaha. Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams everybody. Oh yeah, and I just remembered tomorrow is Gadadhar Pandit's appearance day. So tomorrow I'm not going to be reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. I'll read, maybe we can read from this book here, Sri Chaitanya and His Associates by Srila Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj. We could read about Gadadhar Pandit. This is a really cool book. Yeah. And so then we'll continue our Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam reading the day after tomorrow. Prajumna Prabhu, where do you get all this from? Really fascinating stuff. Yeah, I'm curious. Tell me the source of all this. It's really neat. It's too much to share here, but anyways, at least it's saved in the comments if anybody's curious to know more. Oh, and do you want the link for the Sunday Zoom info? Well, okay, you'll get the link every... So all the detailed information, what the program's going to be, is on vineofdevotion.com. But to get the Zoom link, you need to be subscribed. And I'll send every Friday, I'll send the Zoom link for the Sunday recitation. So, yeah. Yeah. All right. Dandavat pranams, Rukmini Didi, Rukmanjari Didi, everybody there. Shri Mataji, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, Madhavi Didi, Rohit Radhakrishnan. Dandavat pranams, everybody. Kishore Prabhu, Haribol. See you all tomorrow for the glories of Gadadhar Pandit. Haribol.